Charlotte.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
Good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for sitting down and talking to me. I guess we'll just go ahead and kick things off, and get started. So first off, kind of from the beginning, how did you originally find your passion for music, and what was that moment like for you?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be raised in a family that I had very musical parents, and so I was always surrounded by music and musical instruments, and they were always playing albums throughout the house. And so there was just always that element surrounding my life and my childhood. And I think I that passion was always rooted in me before I was even aware of it. My dad is still a musician and still plays in bands and writes music, and so he had a huge influence on me and taught me how to like record myself and make my own songs and track my own songs and all of those things that are were kind of the core of my beginning into this career. So yeah, I'm really grateful that I was surrounded by that.
Awesome. And then originally, what qualities about the pop rock, pop punk genre drew you into that genre, that scene? What made you decide that's where you belong?
Yeah, I think honestly, it was when I started going to shows in that genre, I just started really recognizing how much I just loved the energy that surrounded that type of music and the types of people. I felt like there were so many different types of people, and there was so much diversity in age and in fashion and style and the way people express themselves. And I think I always got really drawn to those scenes and just the energy of people just being so excited to be there and show up and also be really friendly with each other and really like a community. And I think as somebody in like middle school and high school who wasn't having the greatest experience ever, being finding a place that felt like I was immediately welcome into it and immediately a part of a community was huge for me and really influential. And I think ever since that, I kind of never went back.
Right. So kind of on a different note, a little bit of a lighthearted question. If you woke up tomorrow and you decided to change your signature blue hair color that everyone knows you for, what color would you pick next, and what era of your life and your music would that color represent?
Wow. Great question. I love that. I think about it all the time. I I honestly think I would just go back to almost my natural color, which is like just dark brown, or I would go even darker. I think my I don't know if I would do like another color. I think I would just want to be feel more like back to my roots than anything. Literally back to my roots. But I yeah, I'd probably hesitate on like trying an entirely new, like vibrant color for sure.
And then, so can you tell me, I know you've worked with several artists in the scene, different artists. Can you tell me a little bit about your experiences being a female artist in the scene, kind of roadblocks or the support you found, things like that?
Absolutely. I mean, I feel so lucky to be a part of this scene in the time that we're currently in a lot of ways. Obviously, there can always be room for improvement, and there's still so much that needs to happen for women to be on an equal platform as their like male artists and bands. But I do feel really grateful because obviously there's so much positive change that has happened in the last few years, especially in like the pop punk rock world. I think because beforehand that was definitely not a place where there was a lot of female representation. Um, and I think it's so funny because I think so often I feel really positive. I feel really grateful that I get to exist along so many incredible women in this scene and in the music industry. I work with so many incredible tour managers that are women managers, label executives, A&Rs, drummers, guitarists. Like there are so many incredible, incredible women that are a part of my life and my career. And so I feel like for me, I'm currently surrounded by that energy and hope to be surrounded by it more. Um, but yeah, it's always a challenge. I think you're constantly underestimated. I think people assume that you don't know what you want, even when you say, "This is what I want." They try to they kind of always assume that um, that you need to be second guessed. And I think, and it's so funny, like a lot of my friends who are in bands or are not women, I listen to those conversations, those same conversations, and the tone of them is completely different, and the trust that people naturally have in them is completely different, and it's interesting, but it's also yeah, I look at the people around me and the women around me, and I just don't doubt for a second that they're going to be the most successful and incredible um, people in my life and in this business and also as creatives. And so there is so many negatives and there are so many obstacles, but it's also really empowering because I don't, not that I don't see those things, I just think I try to focus so much more on the strengths and the things that I see every day, which is like the incredible women showing up and doing an incredible job and like inspiring me and motivating me. And like the reason that I'm still doing this job is because of those people and like the village that they've created for me and that we've all created together. So, but hoping for more change always and hoping for more women on festival lineups because that is something that needs to happen. More representation in general, more representation on radio, especially in alternative and rock in the rock world. Like there are so many things that still need to happen for sure, but we're doing it and it's happening. And we're not going to take no for an answer. So I wish everyone else luck.
Awesome. And so kind of going with that, can you tell me if you could collaborate with any female artist, past or present, dead or alive, who would that be and why?
Wow, that's an incredible question and so difficult to answer. Um, I feel like I have a rotating few. Do you mind if I give you more than one?
No, go
Okay.
for
Alanis Morissette is a huge, huge one for me. She was like one of the first artists whose songs I covered, and also she's so inspiring as an artist. Like her lyricism and her just she was so unapologetically herself and still is, and it's really inspiring to like watch her just she's also so smart, and I think when you can fall in love with an artist, but then also watching her explain the reason that she made the decisions in her career and talk about the songs that she was writing and the emotions that came with it and all of these things. And she's so brilliant as a person. I think I just like love her even more. And she's such a huge influence on my career. But I think there's Sheryl Crow. I love Sheryl Crow. Another huge influence on just making music in general and writing songs for the first time. And Michelle Branch is a huge one. And I'm trying to think of people who are currently, I mean, I love Paris. I think she's incredible. Lynn is such a badass. And we've toured together before, but would love to do something, do like a song or something together. I could go forever. There's like so many people that I would um, love to work with and love to collaborate with in some way.
Awesome. Um, and so then we're getting kind of into your album that's going to be coming out in March.
Mhm.
I've noticed that you've been posting, you've been doing some like Discord things and interactive things with fans, getting them
Yeah.
hyped up. So kind of with that, how would you describe your experience leading up to the release of this new album, and what does that kind of look like for you?
Yeah, it's been A wonderful experience. It's a lot of work. As you can see, I am fully always just in like a sweatshirt and sweatpants at home, editing every day. I spend most of my time editing videos and the Discord calendars and all the graphics and coming up with ways to try and get people excited and also to make sure that they feel involved because this is such an it's like a community project, I think. I feel like at least that's what my music feels like. It's for everybody by everybody. And so I really try my best. I also really love the idea of people just getting to know each other better in those spaces and in the discords and places where they might be have existed near each other a lot of the time and for a long time, but might not actually have any relationship. And so that always excites me thinking about the fact that like people might meet on the Discord and then have someone to go to a show with, even if it's not mine, they have somebody in a city that they can meet up with and go see music together or or like have like a real relationship or just a place where they can go to like vent or talk about things that are going on in their lives. And there's always people online. There's always somebody there to like kind of listen to you, which I think is a very rare thing to have in your life. So that is just like has been such a highlight. And but yeah, that is the lead up is like it's scary. I mean, I think I'm so excited about these songs and I'm so proud of them and I feel um so excited for people to hear them and to be able to perform them and sing them with people. And I really believe that people will love them. But yeah, it's a lot of work. Was thinking about this yesterday. I was like, I need to make a video of like an actual day in my life of like what the release month looks like because it's the most unglamorous thing you'd ever see. Like genuinely, it's just like me and my computer like clicking away, like trying to respond to everything and schedule everything and but it's all worth it and I'm just like it's the best job in the world and I'm just so excited for it to finally be out and to be in the universe.
Awesome. And then kind of going from that, can you tell me a little bit about your album Sad Light that's coming out and sort of what went into bringing that to life,
Yeah.
the music and putting it together?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this album is, I think, a reflection of the last couple years of my life. And it's very much a kind of a story and a bunch of experiences that I've had in the last couple years. And I really wanted it to be an expression of like all my different layers of my personality and the good days, the bad days, the everything in between, the days that I feel extra confident, the insecure ones, and just so that it's almost this like entire array of, sorry, I'm gonna put my headphones in really quickly. Um, no, you're fine. Can you hear me? Okay. Let me make sure that I can hear you.
Yeah,
I think you're good.
awesome.
Um, but yeah, I wanted it to more so feel like an array of the entire experience of being human instead of just like one specific feeling or story. And I hope that that makes it easier for people to at least find one song or one thing that they can relate to and one no matter what they're going through, I feel like there's a song that you will be able to claim. And I think that was really important for me is that I didn't want it to feel like it was just an entire expression of like happiness or highlights, but I also didn't want it to feel just like gloom and dark um and I wanted everybody to be able to find themselves and see themselves in it in some capacity and that because I think that's truly how I went through a lot of things last year and the year before and a lot of emotions and a lot of ups and downs and just learning about myself and growing up um and yeah, I really wanted it to be just like a reflection of that entire time period and everything that comes with it and everything that comes with being a human being and being alive and So yeah, I hope it does its job.
So kind of going with that, how did you pick Satellite as your title? Where did that kind of come from into it?
Yeah, I love that question. To be honest, it was so hard for me to pick the album title, and I didn't pick the title until the day I had to turn everything in. It was like the actual deadline of if you don't turn this in today, the album will not be coming out this day. And I ended up choosing that title because, and I had so many things written down and so many things that weren't even song titles on the album, but I ended up just feeling like I love the idea of something revolving around another thing. And I think even in the song Satellite, it's very much about being like, I will always be there for you. I'm always looking out for you. Will always take care of you. And I'm always like in your orbit forever. And I think that idea just was the one that made me feel the closest to like even the audience and all these things. I was like, that's what I feel like to them in my head, and that's what they feel like to me. It's like we are forever in each other's orbits. We're always a part of each other's lives, even when we can't see each other. And I think so often I'm so far across the world from so many people that I even have in the Discord, and I some people that I see once every 2 years when we're playing shows and um, but I think there's something really nice about the idea of we're like each other's satellites and we are there and we always exist even when we can't see each other um and we're just like having and being like aware of each other and I think that just feels like very yeah peaceful to me and I think it brought me like a sense of calm and just um that was like immediately I just like had that instinct that that felt like the right name for it. And I also think that song on the album is it's the first song and it's also very different than I think anything I've done. And I think it might be a little surprising to some people, but I really love it. And it's like another example of kind of branching out from my normal choices sonically and taking some risks, but like just making things that make me excited. And so it's just another example of a song that yeah, it just feels like a new phase and a new era. And that felt like a good reflection of this project.
Awesome. So with that, which song on the album was the most difficult for you to get just right, and why was that?
That's so hard. To be honest, there's a couple for different reasons. Um there's a song called Half Alive that I really, really love. Um and there was parts of that song that was production wise were really hard to lock in because um the pre-chorus and all these things it was like kind of dipping into all these different sounds and these different energies and I wanted it to be like quiet and whispery in the pre-chorus and have this but then also building like momentum at the same time and I think that one felt like it was difficult to finish because it just like never sat like perfectly with me and I was like it's so important to like nail exactly what I'm hearing in my brain but it was hard for me to get that out which is so often a challenge and um because each person and each artist words mean different things to all of us so when I say like I need it to be wider and sound like this a producer and other people hear that completely differently but it's so funny and that was challenging for sure and then I think there were songs like um Water Me Down which lyrically and just because of how intense it is as I think a concept for me and personal that one I just felt like we really wanted to be super intentional with everything we were saying and making sure that we were making the choices that felt not easy, but like they were the right choices and taking more time um to do that instead of just rushing through it. And so yeah, I would say those two are the first that come to mind. But I know some of them come so easily. Like songs like Sunday, which is the last song on the album, which like felt like we wrote it in like 20 minutes. It was like so simple. It was just like the first thing that came to my head. That was what we did. And I basically sang most of the song just as an idea and then kept the vocals. And so there's certain moments where I feel like things happen really naturally. And then there's other times when you really just have to like be there and be present and try and figure it out as much as possible.
Right. Um, so then kind of going with touring and things, after a high energy set, when you've done a show, what's the first thing you do when you get back to either the green room or the bus to kind of reground yourself and come back from that high?
Um, Great question. I think a lot of times, I think after a show when I'm like officially done, there's no like meet and greets or like anything afterwards. I mean, the biggest thing for me is either like like washing my face. I think like doing something that feels like self-care, or even showering or anything that's just like you're alone and you have the same routine every day. And I think that's a huge thing is making sure, you kind of have like alone time and a consistent routine. And I think for me, like being able to sit and like slowly, calmly, really tiredly, like take off my makeup and just like do skincare and just all of those things, like make a cup of tea. Um, I feel like I turn into like the ultimate grandma every time I go from like these shows and like this like huge energy to just being like matching pajamas, herbal tea. But yeah, I think that's what's so important, like just trying to take care of my voice and trying to like take care of my energy. And also I think just try to reflect on the show and have, I think our memories are so often decided by how we talk about them in the sense of like experiences. And I try really hard to not be super negative if things went wrong or not, and make sure I don't focus on those things because then you only think about that show because of those things. So I try really hard to make sure that I'm talking about all the positive things and that everyone feels happy and excited and, all of the above. So, yeah.
Awesome. So on a different note, kind of talking again a little bit more of a fun question. If someone were to dress up and cosplay as you for Halloween, what would you tell them are the three essential things that they have for to get the look right?
Wow. I would say blue wig or blue hair. Um, Probably a black t-shirt or a black skirt or black clothes in general. Um, and I would say either black boots, such a boring outfit, typical, or um, a guitar, perhaps. But I feel like my idea of myself is so different than other people's idea of me. So, but I remember they made like a custom pop Funko Pop thing. And it was had blue hair and it was wearing like a black t-shirt with a skull on it and and black pants. And I was like, oh, that is so obviously me. So maybe that's the combination.
Awesome. And so again, kind of looking back, you've been doing this for a little bit. One of your earliest viral songs was all the way back in 2020.
Mhm.
You've been writing and performing. How would you say that your sound and your approach have evolved over the years? And then, like, what is the core aspect of you that's remained the same?
Um, yeah, I think that's a great question. I think I have always had this feeling that like inevitably this is what I'm going to be doing. So there's like this blind confidence and maybe delusion that this will be my life forever. And I think that is the thing that's always been consistent is knowing that like there's no other option. There's nothing else I'm going to do. And um so it's kind of like a confidence of like a safety net of just being like, this is it. So how are we going to make it work? And I think as I've gotten older and over the last few years, I mean, I've learned so much. I think I've changed so much in like the things that I need as a person and as an artist and the things that I expect and my expectations and my standards for the people around me. I think um, even the people who I create with and making sure that that's like a very protected space and ecosystem. And I've learned, yeah, how important it is to work with people who really, really pour into you and then you pour into them um, and be around people that are just as delusional as you are and think that think really positively. I mean, I am so impacted and so affected by people's energy. And I think for a long time, I didn't realize how much other people's energy and excitement and energy just about their own lives and like romanticizing your life and just living as positively as you can, like how much that affects my life and my mood. And um, so just being around people like that and friendships and um, the showing up for people and being a villager as much as wanting a village and all of those metaphors that I can find in my head. But yeah, I've learned so much, but I think the constant is that I just know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and I know that this is like my purpose in so many ways, and I'm just so grateful that I get to do it and that people actually care because that's the only difference is like people actually also showing up to the shows. I mean, I'm going to be doing it either way, but it's a lot more fun when people are there and a lot more fun when people are listening to the songs and telling you stories about how they relate to them and everything in between. So I'm grateful I get to do it and I don't take a single day of it for granted.
Awesome. So this kind of goes off of that. But when fans see you perform live and they go to the shows, how do you want them to feel when they're walking out of the show that night after that?
I want people to feel like they have a place that they can fully be themselves. They can feel 100% their most authentic self and know that they are respected and loved and celebrated, and um, that there is a world that is a lot kinder and a lot more positive and a lot more like beautiful than a lot of the things that we are shown all the time and a lot of things that we maybe experience online or in our day-to-days and just have I hope people leave the show feeling fulfilled and feeling like they have a place that they can come to whenever they need to, and that is like our community. And I also feel like I hope people are able to kind of escape their own realities a little bit and just have a good time and hopefully make some memories that they can look back on and um, with their friends or with strangers or anybody and just have those memories be fuel to help them in their lives outside of the shows and to kind of motivate them or just give them some positivity and something to smile about when they don't have other things that they feel like they can. Um, and yeah, I want it to feel like cathartic and just being able to scream the same words with different people that you might not have ever been in a room with um, if you hadn't come to this show and just finding that similarity with strangers and being able to release emotions that you might not have been able to um, by yourself. And um, yeah, all of those things.
Um, okay. And then kind of just to wrap things up,
Mhm.
what what's next for you and how do you plan to continue to evolve your sound?
Um, I think what's next for me is obviously touring. I think I'm gonna be hopefully touring this album as much as possible. This year I'm going on tour with Simple Plan in October in UK, Europe. and hopefully playing just a lot more shows because that is the thing I miss more than anything. Um, but I also think just I'm excited to make more music and just be back and figuring out the next project and the next thing. And as much as I am excited to be in this moment and in this phase, in this era, I'm also very excited to figure out what the next one is. And um, yeah, I can't wait.
Awesome. Is looking back now and thinking about 18-year-old Charlotte that left for Nashville, what do you think she would think of where you're at now?
Oh, she would be either so think I'm so cringy or online. My online presence would probably freak her out. But overall, I mean, like, this is everything I've ever wanted to do. And I think she would be so excited about like the music we're making. And it's truly everything that I had hoped for. And I think she would be really proud of like the decisions that I've made and the fact that we're still independent and still like holding our ground in a lot of ways. And I think, yeah, I think it would be all positives. Hopefully, she'd probably like hate my style choices and my online presence, but other than that, I hope she likes me.
Well, and then just kind of to sum it all up and wrap it up to second part of that, what advice now, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give your 18-year-old self if you ran into her?
Yeah, I would say to just like always trust your instincts and like make more decisions faster. Almost like it's better to make decisions and just move quickly sometimes, and just learn as you go than to just not and to just like sit in things for too long. Like sometimes it's better to just make the mistakes, learn from the mistakes, and then move on and just do that and get really, really comfortable being wrong and really comfortable failing at things. Because it doesn't matter how much you fail, it just matters how many times you come back after failing. And that is the only thing that really matters. And I think I for a long time was very stubborn about having to really make every decision be perfect and really be a perfectionist about every single thing. And now I think I'm more at the point where I'm like, I'm willing to be wrong and I'm willing to try things and try and fail and try and fail and then see where I go and see where that gets me. But as long as I'm resilient and I'm still here kicking at the end of the day, it's not really failing.
Exactly, you learn as you go.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, I think that's all I have for you. Was there anything else that you felt like I missed that you were like, I gotta get this out?
No, I loved your questions and I'm so grateful that you took the time to ask them.
Awesome. Well, I think that's it then. So thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me again.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.